Greetings. For the 17th Sunday of Ordinary Time, we switch the Gospel reading from Mark to John chapter 6, who tells us that Jesus was drawing large crowds to hear him speak. What was it that drew them to Jesus? Faith? Curiosity? John tells us that they sat at Jesus' feet, anxious to listen to him because they saw the signs he was performing on the sick. While their physical hunger is not mentioned, Jesus fed them. And so we have the miracle of the multiplication of loaves and fish. Now I'd like to just share with you some snippets of a reflection that Pope Francis wrote on this miracle. He writes that there are three messages in this event. The first is compassion. In facing the crowd who follow him, Jesus does not react with irritation. He reacts with compassion because he knows that they are not seeking him out of curiosity, but out of need. But we must be careful. Compassion, which Jesus feels, is not simply feeling pity. It's more, it means to suffer with. In other words, to empathize with the suffering of another to the point of taking it upon themselves. Jesus is like this. He suffers together with us, and he suffers for us. Jesus teaches us to place the needs of the poor before our own. Our needs, even if legitimate, are not as urgent as those of the poor who lack the basic necessities of life. The second message is sharing. Jesus says to his reluctant disciples, "You give them something to eat." Jesus reasons with God's logic, which is that of sharing. How many times do we turn away so as not to see our brothers and sisters in need? This looking away is a polite way of saying, sort it out yourself. This is not Jesus' way. This is selfishness. Those few loaves and fish shared and blessed by God were enough for everyone. It isn't magic. It's a sign that calls for faith in God, who does not let us go without our daily bread if we know how to share it with one another. The third message, the miracle of the loaves, foreshadows the Eucharist. It is seen in the gesture of Jesus, who, before breaking and distributing the loaves, blessed them. It is the same gesture that Jesus was to make at the Last Supper, when he established the perpetual memorial of his redeeming sacrifice. We must go to the Eucharist with the sentiments of Jesus, which are compassion and the will of sharing. One who goes to the Eucharist without having compassion for the needy and without sharing is not at ease with Jesus. Compassion, sharing, Eucharist. This is the part that Jesus points out to us in this gospel passage. And I end quote from Pope Francis. Like his disciples, we see the people's needs and our own inadequacies as well. We might shrug our shoulders and say, we just don't have enough to feed them. But Jesus wants to address their hungers. He takes what few gifts we place at his disposal, our barley loaves, and blesses them and feeds the hungry with them. As we wait and prepare to go back to the altar, we can reflect on a detail in the story that we might have missed. Did you notice the boy? He contributed all he had, the loaves and fish for the hungry crowd. his presence and what he did poses a question to us. What do I have in materials, talents, and conviction of faith, as little as they might seem, to share with others? And so we might ask ourselves, what do I have to offer the Lord in service to feed these hungers? Amen.